This is something new we're going to try for videos to see if it can make our lab time more efficient and effective when we are in class together. These are the materials you will use tomorrow for the synthesis of zinc iodide lab. First, we will have a hot plate. You'll have your electronic balance with weighing paper, some tongs to grab hot beakers. You'll have 2 vials, one that has 2 grams already weighed out for you by me of zinc in it. The other flask or vial has 2 grams of iodine, already pre-weighed out 2 grams in it. You'll have vinegar, a 10 milliliter graduated cylinder, a 250 milliliter Erlenmeyer flask, and a 125 milliliter Erlenmeyer flask. This is different than what's in the lab handout. The lab handout says a 50 and a 125. We're going to use a 125 and a 250. So basically anywhere in your lab handout you see where it says 50 milliliter flask, cross that out and write 125. Anywhere where it says 125 milliliter flask, cross that out and write 250. Essentially, this procedure is pretty straightforward, but what we'll do after we measure the mass of the smaller 125 milliliter flask is take our zinc and iodide. We will take them and add them to the smaller flask, and then add 5 milliliters of vinegar. A reaction will start to occur in here. You'll swirl around, reaction will occur, you'll make notes and observations, and do some calculations for that reaction as well. Then, once the reaction has stopped, what you will see is a solid and some liquid left over in the smaller flask. In the notes, in the procedure on step 5, it says decant the clear zinc iodide solution into the bigger 250 milliliter flask. Decant means pour the liquid only. So in here, you'll have liquid and solid. You want to pour this so that the liquid only and all of the liquid goes into the bigger flask. You'll then rinse this guy 3 times using 1 milliliter of vinegar. So what that means is after you try to pour all of the liquid out, you'll fill up 1 milliliter of vinegar in here, dump it into the small flask, swirl it around, pour that 1 milliliter out, do it again, swirl it around, pour it into the bigger beaker, 1 more milliliter, swirl this around. After it's added, the vinegar is added, and dump it in. We're trying to get any leftover product that could be in here, any liquid product, with our washing steps. Then you'll take the smaller beaker. We'll go over and place it on a hot plate that will be set on a low heat, around 4. This will evaporate the liquid so that only the leftover solid is in the beaker. You'll know that once there's no water droplets on the inside of the beaker. You'll let that sit and cool, and you'll do some calculations while you're waiting. Then, once it's done, you'll take it off and measure the mass of the beaker with the solid in it. We'll then take the larger Erlenmeyer flask that has a liquid only in it, and we want to heat that up. So we'll add that to the hot plate on low heat again. The liquid will start to boil away. The water and vinegar in there will boil away. But we have to be careful that we don't heat it up too hot or too fast because the iodine will start to decompose. So we want to keep it on a low setting. If you start to see any yellow or orangish color, that means the iodine is decomposing, and that's not good. And you want to take it off the hot plate as quick as possible. After that, we're going to talk about where the conservation of mass, where stoichiometry comes into play, but that is essentially the setup for the lab. Tomorrow in class I'll ask you how this video helped or if it did not help, but the idea is just to give you a visual of what's going to happen so we can come in right away and start with the lab.